Welcome to another episode of Buzz Behind Sports. We have with us today a very special guest, Dr. Pralay Majumdar, sir. He was the Dean Pan India for Sports Authority of India, and he is an integral part of the sports science team at IISM. And we are very honored to have you, sir. Welcome to our show. I would like to start off by asking you, with your extensive background in exercise physiology and your academic leadership that spans around 20 years and more, what initially sparked your passion for the field, and was there a defining moment or experience that set you on this particular path?
Well, thank you from on behalf of IISM of inviting me for this podcast. Uh, well, uh, the thing we have started the journey quite behind. I mean, 30 years back when I have started my journey as a sports scientist in SAI. It was amazing because um, after 4 years, SAI has sent me to US in the year 1994, which was really awesome. And I was one of the best lab in the world at that time, and the best university of the world in sports, which was USC, University of Southern California, Los Angeles, for 3 months training. So it was the amazing thing. I had been touring quite a number of time abroad, and SAI is obviously it is the SAI has sent me as a sports scientist during our time. It was there are a lot of challenges, and which possibly we have fulfilled our task of um, make the people aware of the sports science at this time.
That's amazing, sir. So, if not sports science, how did you come to sports science? Was the question, like, how did you arrive? Like, you wanted to do something sports science. Did you have a sporting background? Were you playing something, or this was your first choice? How was it, sir?
Yeah, basically, I'm a sportsman first, and then I am a sports scientist. That is a secondary thing. But I played football in a club level, Calcutta club level, and then I represented my state in swimming. So and after that, I was quite passionate about sports since my childhood days, and that's why I think I always wanted to remain connected with sports in whatever capacity, if not scientist, maybe something else in the domain of sports.
I think that's wonderful sentiment, sir, because I think when we say sports science, or even for that matter, sports management, the basic fundamental is that you should love sports and playing sports, and then you can make a difference in the field of sports. Sir, you had a very illustrious career that spanned over 3 decades. Do you have a particular memory that stands out in your mind with respect to your career?
Well, academically, whatever, we have produced at least through SAI and wherever I used to teach, we have produced more than 20,000 students during my this career of 30 years. And on top, the thing is, I was working with the national team. Like I was part of the rowing team, um, and the rowing did well. I mean, at that time and during this time also. I mean, rowing is doing well, and we have make a scientific structure in rowing, which is quite remarkable. Initially, I have started with badminton and squash, and then we came to rowing. And of course, the Bangalore Center, that Bangalore Center where most of my career, around 25 years, I was heading the sports science in Bangalore Center, and I'm very proud that during that time, the India won the gold in the and the Junior World Cup under a coach. He is none other than Harinder Singh. So that we were all part of the team's success.
Great, sir. Great. Since you have mentioned that you were a part of Sports Authority of India, that is SAI, which is one of the government bodies that is taking care of a lot of athletes that are produced in India. How would you describe the role of SAI in fostering sports science development and its application to the athletes that are coming up in India?
Well, sports science comes second. If you see the organizational growth in terms of last 10 years, I think the brand value of SAI has increased tremendously. I mean, the people, the general public or people, they understand what is Sports Authority of India, what the Sports Authority of India's policies, what is Fit India, what is I mean the different policy. Khelo India has done remarkably well during last 5 6 years. So this is in terms of the policy of SAI. But so far as the sports science is concerned, I think if you look back before 2000, then possibly we have only 30 members team in the entire country managing the sports science in 4 regional centers. But after that, now the strength is in excess of 300. So last 2 3 years or the 5 years pan, we have done remarkably well. The growth of recruitment has gone very high. We have developed 19 to 23 sports science center across the country, which is again a big thing. I mean, so
I think it's like a tenfold increase in the number of people who are associated in the sports science arena. You said 30 and 300. I think that's definitely a tenfold increase that we have seen in sports science with respect to SAI, and they providing recruitment for newer people who are coming in. So since you mentioned that SAI has set up so many sports science centers across India, 23 to be correct, can you please tell us what these centers essentially have that help the athlete become better?
yeah, what happened in the last 5 6 years? We have the now the main centers is NCSSR, National Center for Sports Science and Research. So NCSSR is the headquarter where many of the other regional centers, 19, 20, 25 centers are also developed for different countries, different places, and we have made the protocol in place. What are the testing to be done for what athletes? We have the definite Indian norms, how to assess the athletes. What are the tests in various verticals of sports sciences like exercise physiology, sports psychology, movement science, kinesiology, biomechanics. Then we have the training method, which ultimately is one of the very important area, which gives our all inputs ultimately goes to the training method expert. They used to plan the program and give the recommendation about the fitness profile of the team. So that is how it is our network, and it is how the SAI is doing.
I think it throws a light on how an athlete's journey should be at any particular point of time when they're going to a sports science center. It should be a combination of training methods that they're doing, the exercise physiologist that is telling them how their blood glucose level, lactate levels are, fatigue levels, etc. Even I think there must be a nutritionist, there must be a psychologist, there must be recovery, etc. that is taken care of by these sports science centers. I think it's amazing what the government is doing, and I am honored to be with you because you were a part of the instrumental development of these centers across India. Uh, Sir, do you think there are any challenges or obstacles that still need to be addressed to take sports science to another level in India?
Yeah. That's, I mean, whatever the setup we have, but setup will give only the value when the people behind the they are very committed, they understand the roles and responsibility, and then they can come to the delivery process. So that kind of, if I compare the commitment of our countries vis-a-vis to um, uh, Europe, or even some leading country like Asia, like China, Korea, and the US, the commitment part, I think, and I think we need to be much more committed, and those whosoever is involved for in this particular sports science field, their role is to assist the coach, and the coaching job is 24 hours job. And once through your recommendation, if you can, if the coach understand you are adding a value to his team's performance, then that is the spirit, and that is how it should be. So there are, I mean, chances of improvement for every time, and gradually we will do better. I mean, whatever we are now, possibly within 3 4 years we can remove the noises which are still there.
Sir, according to you, in your career, what is the legacy that you think you have created is most prominent for you, that sports scientists will always look, back and say, Dr. Pralay sir has left this legacy for us to take sports science ahead in India?
Well, Ayushi, I always believe in team. The individual is comes much more. I mean, individual doesn't make any difference if the individual can make the team. So I strongly believe, and I have created a team of people who are doing it, and even my presence is not required at this moment, and because I have some other thing to do, which is possibly I can contribute the sports and sports science. I mean, reaching out to a more number of people. But I think whatever little we could have, my team could able to do, we have done that, and the team is still doing that. So that's more important rather than individual myself.
I think it's commendable, so that you set a process right so that it could be followed, and I think that will lead the future sports scientists who are coming in India, growing, studying, aspiring to be new sports scientists will, I think, follow the same legacy of a process, and they will take sports science ahead. Um, Sir, in your career, you have undoubtedly come across a lot of athletes that you must have trained, must have tested them for physiological testing, etc. Do you have any particular athlete's journey that inspired you, that this athlete has done very well from the fundamental level to, say, the top notch elite athlete?
Well, if I remember correctly, then I have or my team has the database of PT Usha up to Neeraj Chopra. So we have tested almost all these athletes. Testing has been done through. I'm one of the part of the member of the entire team. So the thing is, I feel there are a couple of athletes who have done tremendously well, taking the SAI facility, using the facility. One is Avinash Salve, who is in 3000 meter steeplechase. Although his recent performance, world number 8, doesn't undermine his only, it is only a rank. But if you see in the Olympic level, 3000 meter India, so, and he used most of the facilities in SAI Bangalore, like hypoxic chamber, like the different testing process. So that's one, and even the entire badminton team, earlier badminton team, then the recent, I told you that the rowing team, we have wonderful time for testing the athlete.
Sir, a little technical question from your field, that is exercise physiology. Uh, since you're mentioning a lot of different sports like rowing, badminton, Neeraj Chopra plays javelin, and steeplechase is something different. So, can you throw some light on what are these differences that you see in different sports when you do these testings? Like, is there a difference that you see in different sports, or is there a what
Yeah,
is
of
it?
course. If you wanted to assess the athlete, you must understand the demand which is underlying that particular sport. Like if I wanted to test, say, marathoners, my data set would be such that valid, reliable data set, so that I can evaluate the performance of a marathoner. But if I wanted to test, say, shooters or archers, then my data set is more not in a exercise physiology, but more that the psychological input can relegate the physiology to a lesser role. So that kind of testing format also we have designed. I mean,
What
to
is it?
whom to test what.
Right, sir. I think it brings us back to the fact that every sport is treated differently, and every like data set or every athlete that is playing a sport will have different physiological demands and different nutritional demands and also psychological demands, as some sports need it more than the others. Sir, as an accomplished academician, since you have taken a lot of lectures, you have a lot of research publications to your name. What advice would you give to students and professionals who would want to pursue a career in exercise physiology or any related field of sports science?
I think everybody tell that he should be committed, he should be dedicated, he should be passionate. Those are uh, I mean, very common word. I think what really, if you wanted to become a practitioner, you need to be connected with the team. If you establish the connection with your team member, the chief coach, the other working with you together, then possibly you can achieve the success.
Sir, since you mentioned SAI has a lot of work done setting up sports science centers that essentially gives the upcoming sports scientists to see that as a career path. So, are there any such other centers that you would like to mention that take care of sports scientists coming and working other than SAI, that is a government center? Are there any non-governmental
Mm.
places where sports scientists can come up?
Well, there are various academies, state academies, Hello India accredited academies. Then there are very private academies. I will not name because there are different brands. So those academies are also doing wonderfully well, and they can absorb the student, those who are coming out from there, in terms of SNC, the strength and conditioning person, or a psychologist, or in a rehab in those areas. These students also can be absorbed.
Since so you mentioned a lot of sensors being made or technology being used to assess sports, and you mentioned about sports analytics. Uh, how does a sports scientist play a role in such domains like sports technology? It's something to do with engineering a technology, but how will a sports scientist help in making a technology better or a sports technology better?
You see, the engineering domain is a different domain which the individual who makes uh, they will make the thing, but you are in the end of the client talent. So what you require, if you tell us, we will make it, and through you, the people use, the end users are from the sports science. For them, we are making it. So that would be really good, because unless the people would be benefited through that technology doesn't have any value.
Correct, sir.
So that's why we always used to take the, I mean, from the practitioner, that what you tell us what to make, and we will make it for you.
Right.
And it would be, for Atmanirbhar Bharat.
Right. So, like I would like to derive from this that a sports scientist is essential for the technology to be right, so that it can be used on athletes. So, somebody who's aspiring to be a sports scientist now can think about himself helping in making a sports technology that will help the athlete.
Absolutely, absolutely.
That's amazing, sir, because it opens a new domain for sports scientists other than the ones we speak about. Because, like for me at least, I thought that technology that engineers banate hai, karte hai, so humko technology. Obviously, a sports scientist has to give in inputs, but to make it correct, I think a sports science or sports scientist can definitely help. Um, Sir, in your view, how sports science is promoting health, fitness in general population also, if not athletes? Because we see a lot of videos coming up by the general population, like they're doing some exercises in the gym or outside. How does this all, come together?
So I must tell you, this particular government initiative of Fit India movement is one of the movement which is, I was fortunately a part of the member for framing the designing of the exercise design and their norms for different age group. So that is one. Second is, once we have that kind of Fit India movement, so it's a movement. It's a movement. So once it is a movement, then awareness definitely will come.
Correct.
And once the people are aware that what food they should eat and what not, and do's and don'ts of different verticals, then they are from the educational space also, they should understand that in which side they should go, what would be their career option, what kind of inputs can make their life better, and in the space of wellness. So this kind of thing is, awareness is tremendously increased from the last 10 years.
I think looking at the awareness level increasing, the new generation, the Gen Zs that are coming up, are looking forward to go in this field, especially when you told about your story that you were a footballer and you wanted to pursue something in sports, but couldn't do so because there were some limitations. And so you chose an alternate career that was closely related to sports. And I think it opens, gates for so many people who are doing not so well in sports, but trying to be there connected to the sporting industry. I think it's opening bigger doors now, since you have mentioned SAI centers coming up, IIT Madras doing something brilliant. And I would definitely like to put this across के जानो लोगों को बताओ तो वो आगे जाएगा. I think that makes a lot of difference. So since you mentioned that almost 5-6 years ago, Sai made a lot of new developments. Since you've been in the industry for so long, a decade ago versus now and a decade ahead, what kind of transition have you seen? Because you've seen it all now, and what do you wish to see in the decade ahead?
Well, if you see the progress of the team's performance, then earlier days in the Olympics or Asian Games even, the team used to go to participate. Now we have changed the mental setup. Now we used to go to compete with them. And therefore, if you see the performance in terms of medal count, by and large, if you see the performance level in terms of their record, most of them did their personal best, and which is again a remarkable thing. So, and if you see the back, so that is the difference which I think which is quite evident.
So the medal tallies have become better, and the personal best performance of players have improved from the last decade. Since we are already now equipped with a lot of sports science setups that are established at different SAI centers, and since our Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, is trying to get, or we are trying to bid for the 2036 Olympics to be held in India, uh, how how should India transition and help the 2036 Olympics become better? Mentioning the fact that we want more medals in that particular year. So, could you throw some light on that, sir?
I think yes, that sports science is one part. Apart from that, in the sports science, we have improved our nutrition, our mess hygiene in all the center across the country. We have it is improved huge. The second part is the staying comfort of the athlete. That also has got. I mean, it is at par with the top class hotel in all the SAI centers wherever they are doing training. So for the sports equipment, we are at par with the international all the other countries abroad. Sports science is one of the areas still I think we need to do well, particularly in the area of technical correction in terms of kinesiology and biomechanics. That are the area I think we must look at it. And the coaching staff who are coaching the Indian team, they are at par with the international standard. So if everything is in place, why not the more number of medals? So I am quite hopeful and optimist for our present coming I mean Olympics and further the Olympics which we beat for India.
One more question I would like to ask, sir. Since you mentioned about Olympics, and obviously players have given their personal best, though we could not do a lot, could not get a lot of medals on the tally. There were, on the other side, we had a lot of Paralympic athletes that had won a lot of medals. So,
Yeah.
what would you say about that?
Well, in last Olympics also we have done well in Paralympics, and Paralympics also um, uh, they had all of them made us proud, and I am proud because the Paralympics is main center is also SAI center, which is Gandhinagar and Delhi. Now most of the our athletes are undergoing training there. So uh, in that domain also, the size contribution is enormous. I mean,
Sir, a question. Since we mentioned Olympics and Paralympics, sports scientists who aspire and they are striving to be sports scientists, how do they have to do something differently or learn different things to become a sports scientist for a Paralympic athlete, or do they have to have an additional skill set that differentiates them so that they can cater to the needs of Paralympic athletes?
no, I don't think that. Yeah, of course, the battery of tests for testing para athletes would be different because there are different. The classification itself is very complex classification in para athletes. So and based on the classification, if we form the normative value also is not very much available because the number of athletes in a particular class is very less. So that are the challenges which we are facing. Otherwise, the testing like and protocol may be challenges, but we have the protocol for testing athletes. I think I mean NCSSR is already making it, and so there is not much difference. I mean, only thing is assessment and protocol selection is differ. But similar scientists, I mean, particular scientists can fulfill the testing for both.
So, some fun question for you. If you could have dinner with any sporting legend or icon, who would it be and why?
Dada Dhanchand, because Dhanchand is the sporting personality which I feel so far he has a great legacy during that time. So I wanted to have a dinner with him.
That's great, sir. Outside of your professional life, as an academician, as a sports scientist, what are your other hobbies or interests that you pursue or you continue doing?
I still play.
Oh,
No,
wow,
I
sir.
still play. I used to spend around 2 hours every day for fast walking, slow running. So every day I do that. I used to read. Uh, I read at least 10 pages. And uh, I love listening music. So these are my hobbies.
That's great, sir. Um, Sir, a twisted question. If you weren't in sports science and with us on Bus Behind Sports today, what would be your alternate career path that you would have chosen if not exercise physiology and sports science?
Well, actually, a very difficult question, but one thing for sure, I will stay connected with sports. If
Yeah.
not sports scientist, maybe sports manager, maybe sports administrator, maybe sports broadcaster. Who knows? But definitely, yes, I feel myself. It's an immense pleasure that whatever I am, and that is, I'm very fortunate about it.